Let me just say something about this Chimamanda situation, or what she said about Nigerian feminist women simply using feminism to just cover up their wickedness, and they're just mean girls, right? That she is a kind person. Here's one thing about being famous or being popular. You have to be very careful, because one thing about fame is that your voice begins to sound like everybody's waiting for your take on something, and this and that and that. And because people are looking up to you, you begin to feel as if you are the most reasonable voice in the whole thing. See, if there's one thing I do is to put myself in check all the time. I don't have that much following, right? But I do consider over 20 something thousand followers a lot of people, actually. Like, I do think that's like a lot. In fact, it is overwhelming to me. But here's the thing, it may not be it may not be a lot when you talk about social media, right? In the grand scheme of things. But just yesterday, I went to get my nails done. I saw like 4 people who knew me from social media yesterday that said hello to me. And I feel like that's overwhelming. Like, I don't even know how to act whenever I see people who know me. I'm like, okay, like that's kind of. And I meet people who know me all the time. When people see you online or on TV, or you write books or things like that, there's a manner at which they trust you, and you have to put yourself in check. But that's by the way. Now back to the Chimamanda's situation. Chimamanda sort of became, most Gen Z people knew her to be the only feminist woman who, like, when they talk about the voice of feminism in Nigeria, people think she's the person that is that voice of feminism. There was a young there was a young girl on Ola's page yesterday that she was arguing with her that Chimamanda is that voice of feminism. She's the one that started feminism in Nigeria, and she was telling Ola, mention one person again that started before Chimamanda. And I just laughed. I'm like, you could have just, that information, I know Ola was not going to answer her anyway, but that information would have been free on Google. And there are people like Buchi and Mecheta, and the girl was like, oh, she was young, she was 13 years old when she found out about Chimamanda. And I'm like, you're like 21 now, so you just found out about her like what, short time ago? I mean, what is that? Feminism does not have a single voice, okay? And there are different types of feminism. And the type of feminism that I think Chimamanda practices choice feminism, right? And a lot of Nigerian feminists have grown way past the stage of choice feminism. But here is what Chimamanda's issue is. I like to call that kind of feminism miscanco, like miscanco feminism, when it's like, you've detached yourself from the movement. You understand? You still align with the movement, but you don't align with people who are at the grassroots level, people who act like, you don't align with other people's voices on the movement, right? And where she tend to sort of begin to miss it, once you have a certain level of respect for some men, simply because you think they align with those thoughts, and these men possibly hold on to these thoughts because they are learning from you. You understand? But of course, men can be learning things from you, and they won't position themselves for you to know that they are learning from you, right? So she began to pay attention or pay respect and homage to certain men who are feminist men, you get? And she wants to be objective, so she listens to their arguments. You understand? And it kind of influences how she sees feminism, but she removed herself from other women who are in the movement, who are people who go through this shit that the movement is about. So think about people like this Steven of Diary of a CEO. Think about this guy, what's that his name? This light-skinned guy. I think his father is white and his mother is South African, or his mother is white and his father is South African. I've forgotten that his name. What's that his name, Seth? I think he's a comedian as well too. Think about people like that. So you get, when you begin to listen to men like that, and they invite you on their show, and you honor those invitations, you respect what they say, a part of what they think will rub off on you. Hence, some of them will say things like, yeah, some women just use feminism to hide behind being mean and all that, but that's not what feminism is about, right? Men are always trying to teach women what feminism is about. Chimamanda, secondly, does not live in Nigeria. And I feel like even the country she lives in is so progressive, where there are certain things that doesn't seem like women have lost rights, or women don't have rights in those areas that she's detached from. You get? And she's so far detached from the struggle that the Nigerian feminist woman is shouting or fighting about. A lot of things are happening in Nigeria where Nigerian feminist women are crying for, they're advocating for. She doesn't see this news, okay? Because she doesn't exactly pay. I know she's not too much of a social media person, and the world has turned on to social media for news. We get the most authentic news on social media more than we do on television. So she does not know that all these things are happening. So she doesn't understand why you will be angry, okay? But then people are still seeing her as the voice of feminism in Nigeria, even though she's detached from the struggles of the Nigerian feminist woman. She's detached from the struggles of the Nigerian woman, the Nigerian girl. She's detached from it. If Chimamanda wants to do a very feminist work now, the best she would do is to say, oh, she wants to bring pads to Nigeria. She wants to bring to children who live in poverty in Nigeria. She wants to help maybe contribute to education in Nigeria. All those things are good, but they do not tackle the main, the root cause of the reason why we have those problems. Every feminist woman that I know online has that kind of work that she does. Maybe feed children in Nigeria, maybe send children to school, maybe buy pads to children in Africa or something. Dr. Zita had a pad, whatever, that she has going on in Ghana, or she had in Ghana, okay? They all do. I personally, just recently, during this End Girl Child Married, I've come here to talk about, I was just advising women, and I'm like, maybe we should consider sending girl children to school. And the more children are educated, the more they grow up to not want to marry early, and they would have more dreams and everything. In that simple video that I made, right, today, I have people who have offered to send over 10 children to school. Currently, we already have over 8 kids that have started school already. Some are starting in January. Okay? I'm thinking of registering that thing. That would be something I'll discuss maybe towards the end of the year or next. And the only reason I'm trying to register it is because of the tax reform that is coming in January. So I need to put things together and register it so that these children their school fees can be sent and that money will not be taxed. So I'm thinking of registering it and as a non-governmental organization. Okay? Now, when you detach yourself from the movement and from other people, what that stops you, right? And that is the problem Chimamanda is having, is you will not know other people's thoughts and their experiences. You will not know them. Okay, so you can sit on your high horse and say certain things that doesn't come off as being a part of the movement. Chimamanda is detached from the movement. Okay, and she doesn't even know that she's detached from the movement yet, but she is detached from the movement. She is a writer. There was a time people were dragging her that she did not speak about. Maybe something happened and they're like, feminists are advocating. Why is she not advocating? And I was in the comment section of other people defending her that I'm like, she's a writer. She's not an activist. And it's okay if that is all she can do, is okay. But she's not beginning to use platforms where people who advocate are being dragged to also be there and call these people who advocate just mean girls or trying to be wicked under the guise of feminism. That simply shows me that she's detached from the movement. When you detach yourself from the movement, you won't know the thoughts of other people within the movement. The people must have outgrown you. They must have grown to a point where they have several other thoughts, several other ideas have been introduced into the movement, and you will not know. Feminism did not start off intersectional. It is now intersectional, but there are so many people who are back. They are like back, way back in the beginning of what feminism started as. Okay, so whenever you hear a woman come here to say feminism is for women to make choice, is just for women to have rights, it's for women to make choices, it doesn't mean you should not submit to your husband. Those are people who are stuck at the first layer of the definition of the feminism. Oh, all these online feminists, those are people who are way back. They have detached themselves from the movement, or they never even attached themselves. They just picked the definition and they ran with it, and they never ever grew way past that definition. Okay, it's the same thing that is happening to Chimamanda. She's stuck somewhere and she has not been able to update herself on what is happening right now.